čekali. Ko se probudio, ko nije. Žao nam je. Okay, I'm dobrovoljac, so let's start reading the book Adrian Mole, so the winter section, and I hope that you found enough time to read the book. The first chapter, actually. Ajmo sad, ko nam se javlja da pročita prvi dan Natalije. Ok, sad čekajte, zapisat ću. Znači imamo Nataliju, samo da mi otvori red. Sve tu mogućnost, ne znam za to što je. Otvori red. Lepo, znači 4 podignute ruke. Nisam znala za ovo. Ok, Natalija prvo. Ajde zapisat ću, pošto imamo puno. Imamo oko 12 odlomaka na više. Ajmo, Natalija. Onda imamo Kseniju, zapamtite da je posle Ksenija, pa Ana Janković, Miloš, Nikolić, Stevan, Vanja, Marijana. Ok, samo da imamo Stevan, Vanja, Marijana, imamo sad i Emiliju Mrvić, samo da imamo. Emilija Mrvić, da nije možda vaša sestra isto profesorka engleskog? Odnosno da je završila engleski?
Ne.
Imali smo jednu studentkinju Mrvić prezime, pa možda rekao da niste urok. Okay, so let's start with Thursday, January the 1st. In my book, it's page 3, but I think you have a different edition. But anyway, it's Thursday, January the 1st. Natalia Pachnoglu will read the first day of the diary, and then I'll ask him questions, and she'll tell us something about the book. Okay, Natalia, može.
Okay. Thursday, January the 1st. Bank holiday in England, Ireland, Scotland, and Wales. These are my New Year's resolutions. I will help the blind across the road. I will hang my trousers up. I will put the sleeves back on my records. I will not start smoking. I will stop squeezing my spots. I will be kind to the dog. I will help the poor and ignorant. After hearing the disgusting noises from downstairs last night, I have also vowed never to drink alcohol. My father got the dog drunk on sherry brandy at the party last night. If the RSPCA hear about it, he could get done. 8 days have gone by since Christmas Day, but my mother still hasn't worn the green Larex apron I bought her for Christmas. She will get birth cubes next year. Just my luck. I've got a spot on my chin for the first day of the new year.
Okay, thank you. So before we analyze this particular text, could you please tell us something about the first chapter, about the main characters and their relationships and the main events?
Yes, so the main character is obviously Adrian Mole. He's a 13 and something, almost 14-year-old boy, and he lives with his parents and his dog. He has a really bad relationship with his parents, and his parents have a really bad relationship with each other. There's also his grandmother who occasionally visits, so he visits her.
Sorry for interrupting you. Anything else? Could you specify the word, the characterization bad? Yes, they have a kind of a bad relationship. What does that exactly mean?
Well, they fight a lot and they don't really see eye to eye. His parents are really on the brink of divorce. His mother is cheating on his father.
Yes.
They don't really pay attention to him. And I guess he feels lonely and
yes,
like he's not important.
Yes, neglected, not protected.
Yes.
How about grandma? His grandma. Did you say anything about her?
I think that his relationship with her is a bit better than with his parents. I think that he maybe feels more relaxed when he's with her
Yes.
because she seems more laid back and she acts more like an actual adult than his
Yes.
parents do.
Excellent.
She
Yes.
tries to protect him and to do the right thing. She understands that his parents don't really have a good relationship, and she uh, tries to make his life a little bit better because she knows that the situation isn't really good at home.
Yes, excellent. That was an excellent explanation. And I agree with you. Some people may, I don't know, disagree. We're all entitled to our own opinions, but I agree based on what we have read, based on what you have read, yes, what you said is perfectly rational and very good explanation. Yes, she's the only character, his grandma is the only character that actually is an adult, unlike his parents who behave as teenagers, I would say. I'm not accusing anyone of anything or judging, but anyway, we're just trying to make a difference between how people behave. Anyway, could you now focus on the section, the first section, and in a very short, give us a short summary of this section, Thursday, January the 1st. What is going on?
Well, Adrian has decided that he wants to change some things about his life, and
Okay.
we read his New Year's resolutions. He wants to be kinder both to other people and to himself, and to try to do some things which will improve his life. But we immediately see that his home life isn't very good. His father was drunk. He got the dog drunk.
Oh, yes.
His mother doesn't really care about the present he bought her for Christmas. He
Yes.
feels like his year has already started in a wrong way. He has a spot on his chin that's a really bad thing for him,
Okay.
a tragedy for him.
Yes, that's a tragedy for a teenager. It's a tragedy for all of us when we have spots on our faces. Yes. Anyway, I will have to turn my camera off because my laptop keeps notifying me that the connection, the internet connection is bad. So I will just turn my camera off, and of course my microphone will be on. And now, the next thing I'm going to ask you to do is to explain the meanings of some of the words here given here in the first day. Let's say, yes, day of the diary, because there will be what you will do. That is actually what you will do in your oral exam. After you've read the text from the book, then you're supposed to retell what you've read in your when we have our exam, and then you're supposed to explain the meanings of some of the words from that particular section by giving synonyms, words of the similar meaning or say the same meaning, or by paraphrasing the words if you cannot think of a synonym. So what are New Year's resolutions? Actually focus on the word resolution. What is a resolution? You can give me a synonym or paraphrase the word.
Oh, I guess resolution is like a decision
Excellent.
to do or not to do something.
Excellent. Yes, a resolution or a decision. Right. How about the word the blind? The words actually, the blind. Why is this article used in front of the adjective blind? What does this mean, the blind?
Well, it means all blind people.
Yes. Okay. So when you deal with articles, when you talk about the articles with Liliana Markovic, we'll talk about this in more. I mean, not in more detail, but we will mention this. Yes, the blind. Could you give any other examples? The blind,
the poor, the rich, the young.
You can also say For example, when you talk about people and you try to qualify them as, I don't know, this or that, you can say, for example, the Milicas of the world. But that's not the same thing. It's not an adjective, but it's similar. Or the Stevans of the world, or the Marianas of the world. If you, for example, say Mariana is such a nice girl, and Natalia is such a nice girl, and she's such a good student, and she's a friend, she's a real friend, and you say all the Milicas of the world or all the Natalias of the world are nice. Anyway, this is not the same because it's not an adjective, but it's similar. So it refers to the whole class of people that have that name or they're labeled by that word. Okay, this word hang is very interesting. This verb hang is very interesting because it has two different meanings. Actually, it has two different paradigms. They change in different ways. So could you try and explain how this verb changes in the past tense and past participle forms? Is it hang, hung, hung, or hang, 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 or both? Or
if we say hang, hung, hung,
mm-hmm.
that means to, for example, hang a picture on the wall. Excellent. Or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
But
mm-hmm.
if we say hang, hanged,
mm-hmm.
that means to kill someone.
Yes. Okay.
By tying them to a rope.
Yes, excellent. Right. The next word, sleeves. I will put the sleeves back on my records. Record is a very old word. You know, records were used to be little things where by means of which you can play music. But what are sleeves here in this context? I will put the sleeves back on my records. Ako record ploča, to vi niste vidjeli verovatno. But anyway, it's part of history and part of our development. So it's I mean, not a bad thing to know what a record is. Plot. It's like a circular thing by means of which you can play music. And a sleeve, when you put a record into a sleeve, what is a sleeve?
I'm not 100% sure, but I think it's like a covering for the record.
Yes, it's a covering. Yes, it's like an envelope. And then when you envelop a record with a sleeve, that's it. Yes, with I don't know, photograph on it, right? Squeezing, to squeeze. I will stop squeezing. To squeeze. What is the meaning of the word to squeeze? Verb to squeeze.
Well, to press with our fingers.
Right. Family, yes, family. Right. Now you have two more examples of adjectives that are used with the definite article to denote a class of people, the poor and the ignorant. And the next word, vow. I have also vowed never to drink alcohol. Vow. What is that? To vow.
Well, I guess it's sort of like to promise, but it's
yes.
we're more dedicated to a vow than a promise.
Yes, that's a very good explanation in the sense that yes, it's not the same as promise. It's a synonym, but when you vow, you make it solemn. Znači svečano obećavam. Pa možete baš tako i da prevedete. Svečano sam obećao, never to drink alcohol. To vow, never to drink alcohol. Okay. Take a look at this word lyrics. What is that? Lyrics apron. What kind of fabric is that? Kakva je to tkanina? Fabric. Znači nije material, kako kažemo materijal, nije material, nego fabric za kad se šije nešto. So what kind of a fabric is that?
I'm not sure actually.
Okay, it has you can take a look actually on the internet. Take a look at the images. You can type it in.
Isn't it like yarn or something?
Like what? Sorry.
Like yarn.
You can take a look at it on the internet. Just type in images of lyrics, and that's the best thing to do when yes, it's shiny. It's shiny, and it's not many people like wearing lyrics because they think it's a bad taste. It's a sign of bad taste, but it doesn't have to be. Anyway, this is a lyrics apron, so it's a shiny fabric, and it kako bi to rekla na srpskom, sjajni neki materijal. Čak može da ima i ove taj konac je zapravo se sija, so the thread is shiny, so when you put it on, you shine. Okay, it doesn't have to look bad. It depends. So basically the fabric is shiny because the thread is shiny, and it gives you that shiny appearance or glittering appearance, right? And that's about. What's an apron? And what is an apron, Natalia?
Well, I guess it's something worn as sort of a protective piece of clothing, which is tied in the back.
Excellent. Yes. So excellent. So when you explain the meaning of a word, if you cannot think of a synonym, so you can first think of a synonym, or you can paraphrase it or explain it by thinking of a word of a broader meaning. An apron is a piece of clothing, as you just said. That's an excellent definition. So it's a piece of clothing that you wear when you cook, and it's tied at the back of it, at your back, or actually, na leđima se always veže. Right. And finally, what is this? Just my luck. He keeps repeating that throughout the book. Just my luck. What does that mean?
Well, it actually means that he's not really lucky.
Yes, it's not. He's not actually lucky. And another question for you: do you ever make New Year's resolutions?
Well, I used to try, but I could never really stick to what I said, so I stopped.
And when you make serious decisions about serious things in your life, do you stick to them? Like,
yes, but I think that we can make a serious decision on any day and start doing something really important to us at any time. It doesn't have to be a New Year's resolution.
That's it. Okay, thank you, Natalia. Thank you. That looked like a nice oral examination interview. Right. Now let's go to our next, Ksenia, next student, will read Sunday, January the 4th. So we have to skip some parts, and of course you're supposed to read the text in between the sections that we're going to read.
Okay. Sunday, January the 4th, second after Christmas. My father has got the flu. I'm not surprised with the diet we get. My mother went out in the rain to get him a vitamin C drink, but I told her, it's too late now. It's a miracle we don't get scurvy. My mother says she can't see anything on my chin, but it is guilt because of the diet. The dog has run off because my mother didn't close the gate. I have broken the arm on the stereo. Nobody knows yet. With a bit of luck, my father will be ill for a long time. He is the only one who uses it apart from me. No sign of the apron.
Okay, so what is this short text about?
The text is about that his father has got sick, and the dog has run off.
Okay, so it's an episode from their everyday life.
Yes.
Mhm. So,
He often blames his mother for the things it's happening in their house.
The dog has run off because my mother didn't close it. So this is the introductory part. I mean, the first. This is the second page of the first section of the book. So basically, what we have here is some episode from their everyday life, so you can see what their internal dynamic is, what they do in their everyday life, how they relate to one another. So here his father has got the flu. What is the flu?
Do I have to translate it on Serbian or to explain in English?
Either explain in English or give a synonym or the full word. So the flu is the clipped form of the longer word. Does anyone know? Do you know? So instead of saying Matea,
Can I check?
Yes?
Yeah, it's influenza.
Influenza, yes, thank you, Stefan. Znači, influenza. So what kind of an illness is that? Or when you use the word disease, a disease is a name for I don't know, how would I say it? How would I explain that? So a disease is a name for any, I don't know, type of illness that you are attacked by, any bad condition, any deterioration of your health. That's a disease. And when you're attacked by a disease, you're ill. That's why you say heart diseases, kidney diseases. You don't say kidney illnesses, but you say kidney diseases, heart diseases, lung diseases, and so his father is attacked by the flu. And what is the flu? What are the symptoms of the flu? Ksenia. Some of the symptoms.
The symptoms. You get high temperature.
Yes.
You cough, lie in the bed, sneezing, and
Kako biste rekli? I prehlađenosti.
broken.
Yes, you're broken. You feel broken. Kako biste rekli imate prehlad?
You get a cold.
Yes, you get a cold or you have a cold, and get is more informal. So you have a cold, glavobolju.
Headache.
You have kako kažete? You have
You
headache.
have a headache.
A headache. Yes, you have a headache. You have a headache. You have a cold. When you have the flu, pa ste sad članovi kako su različiti. To treba znači uvek imati u vidu za bolesti. So when you talk about diseases and illnesses, articles are used in different ways. So you say, I have the flu, and I have a cold, I have a headache, or I don't know, a toothache. You don't have a toothache when you have the flu, but you have the indefinite article with ache. I have a headache, I have whatever. A backache, maybe a backache. Right. It's a miracle. What is a miracle? What does that word mean? A miracle.
Something that is like I don't know how to say it, but miracle is something that is quite unexpected and shocking to happen.
Yes. You can say it's an event. Always try to think of a more broader, or actually a broader term. Yes, a miracle is an event or a situation that is shocking, that does not happen on an everyday basis, yes. And what is scurvy? Scurvy. It's also a disease. It's also a disease. But could you connect this with the previous mentioning of the vitamin C drink, scurvy? It's connected.
I'm not so sure about that.
So it's actually a disease which is caused by a lack of vitamin C. And it may look shocking to you and contrary to your expectation. This disease has not been eradicated completely. We think that it is, but it does happen. People do get ill with scurvy, a disease caused by deficiency of vitamin C. And it's manifested, or the symptoms are, you can check it on the internet, the symptoms are bleeding gums and teeth. And of course, if you have scurvy, you're very, very weak. Možete isto pogledati sada na internetu slike za, ne daj Bože, scurvy images. To je stvarno strašno nešto. I nažalost, to uopšte nije iskorenjena bolest, kao što mi mislimo da jeste.
A koji je prevod za nju?
Škorbut. Skorbut. Sad ću vidjeti da ovdje je skorbut. Nije š, nego samo skorbut. To je vama strano skorbut, jeste. Skorbut. Nedostatak vitamina C, odnosno askorbinske kiseline. Zaista grozna bolest. To je to. Znači, skorbut, scurvy, zapamtite po tome što imate scurvy, skorbut, scurvy, skorbut, u stvari imate sk, scurvy, skorbut. Disease caused by vitamin C deficiency, and the symptoms are bleeding gums and weakness. So take vitamin C regularly, which means lots of fruits. And now the dog has run off. What does this off particle suggest? Kada koristite off, the dog has run off. What do you think that means?
That means that of something.
When you use, for example, the birds were scared off, he was frightened off. What do you think this off particle suggests? What does it suggest?
Oh, I think it suggests.
Suggests.
Yes, I'm sorry.
Oslobodite se, znači potpuno se opustite, znači vi na usponu, naravno imate sad monitoring, ali nemojte nikada da budete slobodno, znači grešimo, pa molim vas, svi pogrešimo nekad i na srpskom, kad shvatimo rečenicu, pogrešimo, pa molim vas. No dobro, možete reći englesko sad grešimo, ali slobodno nemojte da how don't self-flagellate yourself when you make a mistake. Anyway, run off. What does that mean? Off.
That means maybe.
He was frightened off. The birds were scared off. What kind of meaning does it intensify? It intensifies that separation, that moment that he or she's gone and it's no longer there. So the dog has run off. Similar to run away, but run off is not there anymore. It's run off because my mother didn't close the gate. Okay. Thank you, Celia. When you have the flu, what do you do?
Me?
Or a cold. Doesn't have to be the flu. A cold. When you have a cold, what do you do?
I lie in the bed whole day or days. I think days, of course. And
I lie in bed. I lie in bed. So when
yes,
you lie in bed uh, for a very long time. Anything else?
and drink a lot of tea,
That's it.
using vitamins and uh, some medicaments,
Okay.
and eat a lot of sweets.
If you have a fever or a high temperature, what to do?
I drink a lot of water and some other drinks, and I use medicaments to take that high temperature away.
Off.
Off.
Okay. Okay. Excellent. Right. So that's let's say not an everyday situation, but it happens. So we should now we should be able to explain that in English. What you do when you have a the flu or a cold, Okay. Now the next student on our list is thank you, Ksenia, Anna Yankovic. Anna Yankovic will read um, Thursday, January the 8th. So Anna, can you please read
Yes.
Thursday, January the 8th?
Now my mother has got the flu.
Okay,
This
so we
means,
have the father who had the flu, and now my mother has got the flu, right?
yeah.
Oh.
This means that I have to look after them both. Trust my luck. I have been up and down the stairs all day. I cooked a big dinner for them tonight. 2 poached eggs with beans and tin
Semolina pudding.
semolina pudding. It's a good job I wore the green Lurex apron because the poached eggs escaped out of the pan and got all over me. I nearly said something when I saw they hadn't eaten any of it. They can't be that ill. I gave it to the dog in the coal shed. My grandmother is coming tomorrow morning, so I had to clean the burnt saucepans, then take the dog for a walk. It was 11:30 before I got to bed. No wonder I'm short for my age. I have
Sorry about
decided.
that. Sorry about that. That's something that I'm. Did you hear some noise now, or?
No,
Okay, so okay then.
no, it's fine. I have decided against medicine for a career.
Okay, so this is interesting. So now my mother has got the flu, and what happened here?
So now he has to look after them both and do the housework and stuff. I mean, it's not like the parents really did that stuff either, but still, now all the work's on him.
When he says they can't be that ill, what do you think about this?
Well, maybe he doubts that they're really that ill. Maybe they're just. I mean, not like they're faking. Of course, they're ill, but like maybe they're pretending that they're more ill than they actually are to avoid housework.
Yeah, maybe. I don't know. I mean, I don't know. When I'm ill, to be honest, when I'm ill, I never lie all day in my bed because I find yeah, I do if I have a very high fever. But do you literally lie all day? And Anna, I mean, I don't know. I'm just curious.
Well, depends on how sick I am.
Yes, it depends. It depends, right? But anyway, what does he do? I mean, what,
Um,
or if you will, what did he do? So he said, "I have been up and down the stairs all day, doing
yeah,
what?"
so he's been doing stuff for them all day. He cooked dinner for them, and then of course he had to do the dishes and take the dog for a walk.
Mhm.
And because he has been doing chores basically all day. He had to go to bed late.
Yeah. Well, he's. It's nice actually to have. I don't. It's to be so. Let's say. I'm working at the age of 13. This is
Yeah.
praiseworthy, and he's a really nice kid, and this is actually like a stream of consciousness. This is his diary. We wouldn't know when we, for example, see people. We don't know what goes on in his mind, but imagine a child who does all those things and then his mind uh, has all these thoughts about, oh, I have been up and down all day. That's what we do all the time. We keep thinking
Yeah.
about things, and that's perfectly normal. And then he wears the green lurex apron. Whose apron is that?
His mother.
Mother's. His mother's, yes. And who gave her the apron? Remember the
Can you
first section?
repeat that?
You remember the first section that Natalia read? So,
The grandma, I think.
uh, uh, eight, huh, um, 8 days have gone by since Christmas Day, but my mother still hasn't worn the green lurex apron I bought her for
Oh,
Christmas.
yeah.
Okay, these are details. You cannot remember all the details, but
Yeah,
yes,
I kinda
he's the one, and he
mixed up.
didn't wear it, and now now he because of the situation he put the green lurex apron on, and he had to poach some eggs. Now let's focus on the food vocabulary here. Food vocabulary. So he cooked a big dinner for them. How do you explain the meaning of the word to cook?
Uh,
Or
well,
give another
like,
word.
make, prepare.
That's it. Prepare. So that's cooking is preparing food. Or to cook is to prepare in different ways. Now, I'll send you a link where you will see how poached eggs are made. We'll all take a look at it, and then you will try and retell what Jamie Oliver said. Or if you don't feel like it, someone else will. But anyway, let's.
No,
Okay, you
I.
will. Okay,
Okay,
it's
so
interesting.
should I open it right now?
Yes, we should all open
Okay.
it. You can also listen to it twice, and we'll get back to it in. Let me see how. It's 4 minutes 25 seconds. So in 10 minutes we'll be back, and you will retell it.
korist. Voće pokreće.
Započni svaki dan brijanjem, stekni samopouzdanje za dalje i pokaži da znaš ko zaista jesi. Gillette.
Hi guys, me and the FoodTube family, together with our friends at LV, are here to help you guys out. You've told us what your biggest cooking headaches are, so together we'll show you our secret tips and tricks which will change the way you cook forever. So here you have it, how to poach the perfect eggs 3 ways. Super silky, gorgeous eggs every time. The only way to poach the perfect egg is if you have really, really fresh eggs. End of story. When it gets to the shopping, don't go to the front, go to the back and get your eggs. Even if you have to knock them all over, go to the back because they're going to be the freshest ones. Next, bring your water to the boil. That means that there's bubbles. Take it off so they subside. Look at the water. There's no bubbles here, guys. It's just poaching. Poaching is not boiling. Boiling will smash the eggs all around. Poached egg, gentle. My egg, you crack it into there and you just plop it in. And if you have lovely, fresh eggs, you're going to win most of the time. Some people say, put some vinegar in the water. Really? Why? Yes, it does firm up the egg, but it tastes like vinegar. So I would suggest don't bother. As far as cooking is concerned, roughly around 3 minutes is going to give you a softish egg. Then it's down to you to use your noddle. So get in there. So I'm just touching that. So you want it to kind of feel like a lovely, fresh, springy mozzarella. A nice little poached egg. It's cooked to perfection. So there you go, a basic poached egg on toast. If you haven't got fresh eggs, I do have a few little tips. First up, if you spin your spoon around in the pan like this, and then you get your egg and plop it in the middle, if you see, the inertia of that water's wrapping it around the yolk. So while we cook that, I've got some lovely asparagus here. Now I've dressed it with a little oil, a pinch of salt, a little lemon juice. If you look in here now, kind of cooking quite nicely. You can see how it's just wrapped around. So let's have a little look here. Let's bring that up. You can see it's more pouchy now. So look, on the asparagus, I'm just going to season it with a little salt, a little pepper. Of course, just stabbing it a little bit so it oozes. And I'm just going to shave some lovely bits of Parmesan over the top like that. If you're cooking for yourself, that's a nice little cheat that will give you a nice product. But when I'm poaching eggs, I'm doing 5, 6. So I have a little technique. You get some food-safe cling film, okay? Just get a little piece of it like that, put it into a little bowl, put a tiny little bit of oil, and just rub it around, crack in the egg. The nice thing also is that you can flavour these as well. You could put chopped herbs in. You could put some harissa in there, which is that lovely spicy chilli paste. Pull in the sides like this and tie it in a knot. It's really easy. And what that's going to do is give you that perfect shape that really guarantees perfection. I'm going to plop that straight in to our water. So let's open it up. Just get a knife or a pair of scissors and just snip off the end. You know, you can put herbs in there, chili in there, spiced truffles, flavoured butters. But look, perfection. Absolutely cylindrical, perfect. Soft, delicate, gorgeous. So how do you cook your eggs? If you want me and the FoodTube team to solve any more of your problems in the kitchen with LV, then just tell us in the comments box below. And don't forget, please guys, share on your social media, comment, like, and of course subscribe if you haven't subscribed already, because FoodTube is free. Nothing to lose. For more tips and tricks on these cooking
Excuse me. I'm
Mhm.
pretty sure we've all seen the video by now.
Okay. But I said twice. Ja sam rekla 2 puta. Dečice, da bi popamtili više detalja.
Okay.
It's like story retelling. You will hear to your story when you retell a story twice. Once again. Once again. Ana, jeste preslušali 2 puta Janković? Ana.
No, I am watching it right now for the
Okay.
second time.
Okay. We'll wait 2 more minutes. 2 to 3 more minutes.
Okay, I am done.
Ok, samo da vidim ovaj red naš. Ana Janković, jesam ja pogrešna vas ili je trebala Ana Veličković? Samo da vidim. A ne. Ok, I'm Ana, nebitno. Ana Janković. Now, how do you make poached eggs?
Well, first you, of course, get a really fresh egg.
You need really fresh eggs. Okay.
Yeah.
And then what do you do with the water?
Well, put the water to boil, and when you see the bubbles, that means when you see the bubbles in the water, that means you can put the eggs to boil.
What should you avoid? What should you avoid? What is it that you mustn't do? How do you prevent eggs from cooking or from cooking? So when you put eggs into water, when you see bubbles, what do you do?
Well, you want to put them while the bubbles are still there, because that will break them.
So the water.
So you have to wait for the bubbles to disappear and then put the egg.
You can. You actually take what? What do you do? How do you do that?
Take the pot where the water is. You have to take it off the stove.
Okay, and then put it back, and then you put the eggs into the water and wait for them to.
Yeah.
And then what? Did Jamie Oliver give any other pieces of advice, useful pieces of advice, how to, if you, for example, don't have fresh eggs? What do you do if your eggs are not fresh enough? You think that they're not fresh enough.
Let me just see.
You spin water with a spoon. You remember that? So you.
Oh yeah.
Why do you do that? It helps the egg stay together, so it does not disintegrate. So because you spin the water with a spoon, with your spoon, then the egg becomes that it does not disintegrate.
Yeah.
other pieces of advice that he gave regarding poaching eggs with not such fresh eggs? You can put an egg into a cling film, food safe cling film. To je imamo skoro isti prijanjajuća folija, je li tako? Cling film. Cling prijanjajuća film folija. Prijanjajuća folija. So put it in food safe cling film and then cook it. Okay, so in your oral exam, if you are lucky or not lucky, whatever you think, enough to have this part of the book, and you will be asked to explain how you make poached eggs, of course, how to make poached eggs. Now, let's go to some other vocabulary items. Tin semolina pudding. What do you think semolina is? Možete slobodno i sada da ukucate, nebitno je sada radimo na času. Znači,
do I have to explain in English or can I?
Yes, you can explain in English and then give us the Serbian word.
The Serbian word is griz.
Znači, to obavezno treba da znate na usmenom pogotovo. Znači, griz, yes, and what is it actually?
It's
mnogo jednostavno. Nemojte nikada misliti, kako to je prah, praktično prah je tako. What is the English word for prah? Powder.
Powder.
So, what is it made from?
From wheat.
Tako je. Znači, vrlo su jednostavne stvari. Znači, it's a type
it's
of...
basically like flour.
Yes, it's a powder made from wheat, and that's it. That's it. And in Serbian, it's griz, and that's it. So that's semolina pudding, right? What is a saucepan? That's the word at the end of this day. Saucepan. It's a type of a pan. Is it a deep or shallow pan?
I guess it's like a deeper pan, not like.
It's deep because you make sauce in it. The very word sauce suggests that it's a saucepan. It's deep. It's a deep pan with what? It has a handle. Znači, i mi imamo te, kako se kaže, lonce za pravljenje sosa. Znači, cooking is such a beautiful skill. Cook all the time. It's so, I don't know, it brings such pleasure. Do you cook, Anna?
I only know how to make like basic stuff.
Okay.
Because I don't.
Can you make pancakes, for example?
Yeah.
Okay, so
that's it.
Anyway, so a saucepan is a deep pan and it has a handle and kako se kaže poklopac?
A lid.
That's it. It has a lid. Dobro, thank you, Ana. Sada nam je, ja sam ovdje, samo da vidim, sledeća studentkinja ili student Miloš Nikolić. Kako se ja zapisala, možda sve pogrešno, Miloš Nikolić. Now, your part of the book, let me find the next. Tuesday, January the 20th. Tuesday, January the 20th. My mother is looking for a job.
Tuesday, January 20th, full moon. My mother is looking for a job. Now I could end up a delinquent roaming the streets and all that. And what will I do during the holidays? I expect I will have to sit in a laundrette all day to keep warm. I will be a latchkey kid, whatever that is. And who will look after the dog? And what will I have to eat all day? I will be forced to eat crisps and sweets until my skin is ruined and my teeth fall out. I think my mother is being very selfish. She won't be any good in a job anyway. She isn't very bright and she drinks too much at Christmas. I rang my grandma up and told her, and she says I could stay at her house in the holidays and go to the Evergreens meetings in the afternoons and stuff like that. I wish I hadn't rung now. The Samaritans met today during break. The old people were shared out. I got an old man called Bert Baxter. He's 89, so I don't suppose I will have him for long. I'm going round to see him tomorrow. I hope he hasn't got a dog. I'm fed up with dogs. They are either at the vet's or standing in front of the television.
Yes, right. So remember, these are all Adrian's thoughts about life, his stream of consciousness. And sometimes you may find him a little bit, I don't know, rude, for example, when he says, I got an old man called Bert Baxter. I don't suppose I'll have him for long. That's a not very nice thing to write, but actually it's his stream of consciousness, because this is a diary. So this he's brutally honest. I'm not saying that this is a nice thing to say, but anyway, that's what we all have, such bad thoughts, and of course we should correct them. We should correct ourselves. But anyway, what is going on? What happens here? What does Adrian experience?
I mean, his mother is now looking for a job as well as his father.
Is he happy? Is he happy about that?
No, because
why?
Then he will have to do all things himself again. Yes.
And he's
around the house.
He's very stressed out. He's very he's so unhappy because he says I'll end up. He's anxious. Što znači stanje anksioznosti? When you're anxious, it's not a very pleasant thing. You're worried about the future, and he says that he will end up as a
latchkey kid
and a delinquent. I could end up a delinquent, yes, and a latchkey kid, which is what is a we'll go to the vocabulary later. But anything else? How about his the way he sees his mother? Does he think that she's competent enough to do her job properly?
No, because what she always does is just sit around the house and doing nothing. So he doesn't think that she will do anything at work. So it's just a waste of time to get a job.
And actually what goes through his mind, and is here given in the diary, is that she isn't very bright and she drinks too much at Christmas. That's how the child sees his mother. And that's his, I don't know, completely honest, perspective. He just sees her that way. No, not a very nice way to see someone, but actually that's the way he sees her. She's very bright and she drinks too much, which actually is a warning to all parents to be careful about what they do, because their children look at them and they see them in certain, ways, lights. What about grandma?
Well, he called the grandma because he had no one else to talk to, I guess.
Okay.
And asked her to stay there. Okay. She said yes.
So to look for. So look for is a phrasal verb, which means what? What is the meaning of the phrasal verb to look for?
To look for some.
Šta to znači? Look for. Could you give us a synonym or explain the meaning of the phrasal verb to look for?
I guess to look for someone, or
a synonym. What is a synonym for to look for? To search.
Yeah, to search.
To try and find
that something that he's looking for.
Okay. That's it. You need to provide synonyms. Do you happen to know, does anyone happen to know what is the name of the dictionary that provides synonyms for words? Thesaurus. Da li znate za to reče? Thesaurus.
Yes.
Thesaurus. They're very useful. Very useful dictionaries because you can find you can find synonyms which actually give you more clarity about what a word means. They help you understand certain words, and they help you understand differences between words. Synonyms do not only show us similarities, but they actually highlight differences, right? Delinquent. How do you explain the meaning of the word delinquent?
I guess a person that is bad, like in terms of in terms of like doing bad things to people or to someone or to something. No, not like helping in any way.
Yes.
Exactly opposite of that.
Does it have any legal implications?
No. It's not something like to kill someone just to do something small, but still not good.
But you don't have to kill someone to commit crime.
Yes.
So a delinquent actually does commit crime, but doesn't have to be, I don't know, killing someone. But it has legal consequences because you break the law. You break the law. Okay. I mi kažemo delinkvent, ili tako?
Da.
I da li se kaže delikvent ili delinkvent? I mi kažemo delinkvent, ili tako? Okay. So one of the most important things to say with regard to this word, that it's illegal, and when you talk about delinquents, you actually usually describe young people. Okay. What is a laundrette? What kind of a place is a laundrette?
Where there
a laundrette.
Washing machines and dryers.
Okay, it's a place where you use wash machines to wash your clothes.
Yeah, for public. Yes.
Wash and dry your clothes. Right, and as you mentioned, a latchkey kid. Who is actually a latchkey kid?
No, kids who come home, no one, like empty home when they're out.
Kids who are at home alone because their parents
are working or on a trip or something.
Yes, are at work. Yes, because their parents are at work. So it's not a very nice thing to be a latchkey kid, to be all alone, to be home alone. Home alone. Okay, Miloš, thank you. Let's go to the next part of the book. Stevan, mislim da nam je bio na spisku. Stevan Stanković. Okay, the next Wednesday, January the 21st. Wednesday, January the 21st. It's a very short one, so you will read one more, but okay.
All right.
Mr. and Mrs. Lucas.
All right, so Mr. and Mrs. Lucas are getting a divorce. They're at the first down our road. My mother went next door to comfort Mr. Lucas. He must have been very upset because she was still there when my father came home from work. Mrs. Lucas has gone somewhere in a taxi. I think she has left forever, because she has taken her socket set with her. Poor Mr. Lucas. Now he will have to do his own washing and stuff. My father cooked the tea tonight. We had boiled in the bag curry and rice. It was the only thing left in the freezer apart from a bag of green stuff, which has lost its label. My father made a joke about sending it to the public health inspector. My mother didn't laugh. Perhaps she was thinking about poor Mr. Lucas left on his own.
Okay, that's it. So you don't have to read it. Only this short section, right? So, what is going on?
Well, first of all, Mr. and Mrs. Lucas are getting a divorce. That's a very big part of the story. And as it's previously stated that, well, Mr. Lucas and the mother are cheating, they're having an affair, so of course Adrian's mother went to comfort Mr. Lucas, I guess.
Yes, that's basically it. So what is what is annoying about their relationships, Mr. and Mrs. Lucas, and not Mrs. Lucas, but Mr. Lucas, and then Adrian's mother and father? Do you think that they have? Let me try and identify. Yes, that they have blurry boundaries. That they are so enmeshed together that they lose their own identities, and no one knows who he or she is.
Well, yeah, I actually read the whole book a few weeks ago, and I don't really want to spoil for everyone who hasn't, but like that kind of like concludes near the end, more or less, like with their affair and everything. But yeah, I feel that it's kind of annoying, like when you think about it, like she's ignoring her son quite a lot because of the relationship. Of course, that has like psychological impact on Adrian as well. So for me personally, that's, I guess, the most annoying part.
Yes. Okay. Yes, and I wanted you to read Thursday, January the 22nd. One more part of
that one. All right. Should we start?
Yes.
All right. So Thursday, January 22nd. It is a dirty lie about Pandora's father being a milkman. He's an accountant at the dairy. Sorry. Pandora says she will duff Nigel up if he goes round committing libel. I'm in love with her again. Nigel has asked me to go to a disco at a youth club tomorrow night. It is being held to raise funds for a new packet of ping pong balls. I don't know if I will go because Nigel is a punk at weekends. His mother lets him be one, providing he wears a string vest under his bondage t-shirt. My mother has got an interview for a job. She's practicing her typing and not doing any cooking. So what will it be if she gets the job? My father, she put his foot down before we are a broken home.
Right, so let's first talk about another character introduced here, and that's Pandora. And that topic, let's say subtopic in the book. So his relationship with Pandora. So who's Pandora, and what is this section about?
Well, first of all, Pandora is his classmate. So pretty much, he's been in love for her for a very long time, apparently. Yeah, so she's the son, I guess, of an accountant. So she's pretty rich, if I remember correctly.
Daughter. He's an accountant's daughter. Yes.
Yeah, accountant's daughter. Yeah, and she's pretty rich. Yeah, that's pretty much so far everything.
So how do you understand this? It's a dirty lie about Pandora's father being a milkman, and then I'm in love with her again.
All right. I guess I don't remember exactly, but I guess like they were telling lies about her father being a milkman in school. I guess like gossip like spreads very easily since it's a school. So I guess that was a big lie. So I guess Adrian asked him.
Yes, but how come he stopped being in love with her because of her father?
Because of her father.
Don't you find it a little bit strange? So he was in love with her, and then he heard that her father was a milkman.
All right, that kind of makes Adrian seem like a like a money grabbing person. Like he goes for the rich people.
Yes, a social climber. He likes people who are in high powered positions. Yes, but I think that all teenagers like that, and maybe not all, but I don't know. But it's not a very nice thing to judge people by their parents or who they are, or positions they occupy. It's actually not a very nice thing. So he stopped being in love with her. And then what happened?
Nigel asked him to go to the disco at the youth club.
No, about Pandora, and he found out that, well, children said that he was a milkman, but they were actually, that's like an approximation. He's not a milkman, but he works as an accountant at the dairy. What is a dairy?
Dairy is the place where they sell and, I guess, make milk as well.
Milk and milk products, yes.
Yeah.
And he's an accountant. What is an accountant? What kind of a job is that?
An accountant is the person who usually does like the heavy money work, paperwork as well. So he does the money transactions and everything.
And takes care of the money in a company. Yeah. And Pandora says she will duff Nigel up. What does that mean? That verb, duff up, repeats throughout the book. Duff up.
Well, to beat him up, I guess.
Yes. So she was actually angry about these lies, and actually, the word that is used is the libel. What is libel?
In this sentence, it would kind of mean like it should mean like a crime, but I don't think it's on that level. But I think like the synonym is crime for this.
Because kleveta, znači false accusation. It's a false accusation. Yes, so that actually means that she used a very posh word, I would say, a very formal word, a libel, which is a false accusation, and she said she would duff Nigel up if he goes around committing libel. So for her, it is libel. Anyway, and then he fell in love with her again. How about let's go back to his mother again. So his mother has got an interview for a job, and how does he see that? I mean,
whose mother are we talking about? Nigel's or Adrian's?
Adrian's,
right.
My mother has got an interview for a job, page 19 in my book.
All right. Again, we are looking at let's say neglect in a way, like at least in Adrian's eyes.
Yes. Well,
so
yes.
She's not doing any cooking. She's not a housewife now. She's practicing for her job. So
yes, that's his perception, and his perception should definitely be taken into account.
Exactly.
We cannot say no, you don't see that, because he does see that. Because that's the definition of gaslighting. You see that. Maybe I'm mistaken, but I do see that. We cannot invalidate him because he sees that. He says she doesn't cook anymore because she practices typing. Okay, Vanya, thank you, Stefan. Vanya, could you read the section on page? Well, in my book it's page 31, and the day is Thursday, February the 12th. I think we don't have the same.
Well, yes, I found
Thursday,
it.
February the 12th, it begins with, I found my mother dyeing her hair.
Thursday, February the 12th, Lincoln's birthday. I found my mother dyeing her hair in the bathroom tonight. This has come as a complete shock to me. For 13 3/4 years I have thought I had a mother with red hair. Now I find out that it is really light brown. My mother asked me not to tell my father. What a state their marriage must be in. I wonder if my father knows that she wears a padded bra. She doesn't hang them on the line to dry, but I have seen them shoved down the side of the airing cupboard. I wonder what other secrets my mother has got.
Ooh. So, what is the problem now?
Well, he found out that his mother is naturally red-haired and that she dyes her hair, but I assume that it's a really hard red, like it's a really prominent red, so it maybe was a shock to him because he's young, but maybe it's not to his father. But I guess when she told him that he should not tell his father, it's probably something of a ginger red.
Okay, and don't tell this to your father, that's what she says.
Yes.
Right. And then what are his conclusions about when he saw his mother dyeing her hair, and she told him then that he shouldn't say that to his father?
Well,
And
the marriage is in
he-
shambles.
Yes, he keeps making conclusions about what. Yes, why does he do that? Because he wants to understand. When we make conclusions, these are our attempts to understand and to see what is going on, to orient ourselves through the world. And he concludes that their marriage is in what kind of a state?
Well, it's a state of nearly breaking apart, like it's at the edge.
You see actually how children can see everything.
Yes, like they see everything and they make conclusions which are either right or wrong, but they do wonder about everything they see.
And their perception should definitely, children's perception should always be taken into account. Okay, and to die is a verb. How do you paraphrase or explain the meaning of this?
Well, to use products to color your hair a different color.
Yes. Or to change the color, yes. Change the color of your hair. To change the color of your hair. And what is padded? Padded. It doesn't have to be a bride. Can be, I don't know, chair, whatever. A padded. What is it?
Well, to have like a layer of stuffing, for example, to make it either more lighter to sit on, or for a bra to make it look bigger.
Or to be soft, yes, right. Shoved down.
To be forcefully placed somewhere.
Right. How do you understand this airing cupboard? What kind of a cupboard is that?
I think it's used for drying clothes.
Yes. Okay, they have been washed, right. Okay, I think we have enough time for just one or two more parts of the book, but okay, let's read them. And thank you, Vanya. Now Mariana, let me find the next part of the book. Friday, February the 27th. Friday, February the 27th. Early this morning. It begins with
early this morning, I saw Pandora walking down the drive of 69 Elm Tree Avenue. She had a riding hat and dog purse on, so she couldn't have been on her way to school. I didn't let her see me. I didn't want her to know that I am doing a menial job. So now I know where Pandora lives. I had a good look at the house. It is much bigger than ours. It has rolled up wooden blinds at all the windows, and the rooms look like jungles because of the green plants. I looked through the letterbox and saw the big ginger cat eating something on the kitchen table. They have The Guardian, Punch, Private Eye, and A New Society. Pandora reads Jackie, the comic for girls. She is not an intellectual like me, but I don't suppose Malcolm Muggeridge's wife is either.
Muggeridge's wife is either, right. Okay. Could you explain, give us a short summary of the things that are described?
Well, I think at this point of the book, Adrian has got a job. He's bringing the news, I think, newsletters to people's houses, and he saw where Pandora lives.
He delivers newspapers, right?
Yes, and he saw where Pandora lives, and he's describing her house, and he has come to a conclusion that she's much more rich than his family, basically, and he's describing what kind of newspapers they have in their letterbox.
Which suggests the class. The United Kingdom is people say a class-ridden society, so they always judge. Well, not judge. They don't judge. They evaluate. They see people as belonging to certain classes. So so they have The Guardian, Punch, Private Eye. So in other words, they don't read tabloids. They read quality press, which is a good thing, actually. They don't read rubbish. So they read the Guardian, Punch, well, Private, I don't know about that, New Society, so that's it. And Pandora reads Jackie the comic for girls. So she reads the comic, and what does he then, what did he think to himself? That she's not
an intellectual like him.
Why does he like that? What do you think? She's richer than him, but he's yes. So in that sense, they are a match. They are a match.
Well,
yes.
Yeah.
Well, that's what he thinks. Anyway, let's just go through the vocabulary and then we have to stop. And we'll continue next week, and with some more extracts from this first part of the book, from the winter section, and then do other things that are in our syllabus. And you're supposed to read the next section. Ajde da se dogovorimo spring. Pročitati za danas je 3. Ajmo za posljednju nedelju novembra. Posljednja nedelja novembra. Drugi deo. Znači spring. Spring je za posljednju nedelju novembra. To vam je onda 31. je tako? 37, 10, 7, 24, 7, 31. Znači posljednja nedelja novembra, drugi deo knjige. Idemo. Jodhpurs. Jodhpurs. Šta su Jodhpurs, Marijan?
Well, I'm really not sure.
Pantalone za jahanje konja. Riding pants. You can say riding pants. And there is another word, breeches. Breeches. Riding breeches. Riding breeches. Okay. Menial job. What is a menial job?
Well, something that isn't really important. Not an important job.
And a boring
pay
job.
Well.
And a boring job. And it's something that suggests that you are not very qualified and you don't have skills and education.
And
anyway.
it probably doesn't really pay well.
Yes, but he's still just a young boy and he has to do such. We all do menial jobs when we're young. Okay, and we do menial jobs all the time. What are wooden blinds? Blinds.
Well, blinds are something we use to cover our windows so the sunlight doesn't come in.
Okay, right, like shades, right, that protect us from light and from heat. A ginger cat. A ginger cat, what kind of a color is that? To su toliko lepe mačke. Orange or strong brown, tako se kaže, isto strong brown, jaka brown boja, odnosno orange. Okay, pay attention to the sections that we read in our classes. So if you you will 90, I don't know, 5% of the cases in your oral examination, you will have the text that we do in our classes. So all the parts of the book that we do in our classes, those sections, those days, it's absolutely a must that you know the vocabulary from these sections. Ako se padne neki koji nije baš ono što smo radili na času, to je prosto normalno da neko reče, možete baš sve da znate napamet. Ali tekstovi koji se rade na času morate da znate. Znači, na primjer, ako vam se padne ovaj prvi tekst, these are my New Year's resolutions, sve reči odatle mora se znati. Onda, mi na času samo ne možemo pomenuti baš sve reči iz tih tekstova koje radimo, ali znači zapamtite tekstove koje radimo na času, morate da znate za usmeni. Apsolutno. Okay, so see you next week and have a nice day.
Doviđenja.
Goodbye.